Buffalo's gonna win it both.
Kick your heels up and down.
Let's see why the Buffalo Bills are en route to the playoffs.
Come on now, the Bills are making it happen now. Stand up now, come on and shout.
The Buffalo Bills go undefeated. And we're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Now, baby, come on, come on.
No one
Come on
circles the
and
wagon
shout.
like the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
All right, we are live, and we are back. Welcome to another episode of the Overdue Bills podcast. We're definitely excited today. Yes, this is the off season, but we're excited, man. We have a lot of Bills football to talk about, a lot of things to talk about. And I got the guys here. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy. Definitely got the guys here. The gang is back. Shout out to our guy, Matty Ice, aka Now You See Him, Now You Don't, aka he may be a shadow, he may not be. Matt, what's up with you, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm just getting back. I'll get into that in a second, but doing good. How you guys doing?
Good, man. Can't complain.
About to be 3-0. That birthday coming, right?
Yes, sir. A couple days, man. The big 3-0 on the 30th. 30 for 30.
30 for 30. I love it. And y'all know how it is. Our guy, Rad, all purpose Rad. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, man. I know, we talked about it last week on the pod. That's tough couple months coming up for sports, especially football, if you're a football fan. So, but we're gonna help y'all carry y'all through. We're gonna figure this out. Let's rock out.
For sure. Got 8 weeks of content before really the nitty-gritty starts in the NFL season. But you know what I'm saying? We happy. With that being said, y'all know how we start every show, man, with our trusty sponsor, Matt. Can you please let the people know who is sponsoring our show today and every other show?
This episode and every other episode was brought to you by the good people at Buffalo Wings. There's
shout out Wings.
I thought I was back in South Beach for a second there. I was like, yo. But yeah, man. There's two things the guys here at the Overdue Bills podcast know. That's Bills football and that's wings. Our first choice and the best choice is Buffalo Wing Kings. At Wing Kings, it's Wings 101 with over 101 different flavors and their beloved wing of the month. They're sure to school any other wing place around. Stop down and see them for parties at the summertime coming up. You got picnics, events. Definitely hit those guys up. Stop down and see them at 484 Elmwood Avenue or give them a call at 716-248-1427 and find out what they say. And we know they got the best wings in town, hands down. And make sure you mention the Overdue Bills podcast. Get 10% off your order. I know I just got back home. I actually just got some Wing Kings today. I got them on Uber Eats. You can't get the 10% off there yet. They haven't quite worked that out yet, but either way, I got with them today. Wings are fire as usual. Shout out to
what flavor you get.
I got Cajun and Carolina Gold. It's like a honey mustard and Cajun.
I like that Carolina.
And then I got like a Cajun. I mess with the Cajun, the medium and Cajun mix too. So got them joints. Me and my girl had some pizza and wings. We had to get them when we came back.
For sure. People don't understand. Yeah, I mean, wings is obviously synonymous with Buffalo, and of course pizza. I mean, nobody has better. But that's neither here nor there. So let's do this. Let's do our housekeeping real quickly. Then we gonna get into Matt trip, and then we gonna get into the nitty gritty. OverdueBillsPod.com. OverdueBillsPod.com. You see it on your screen. Please go there, man. We got all of our merch. We got all of our media. Everything you need to know about the Overdue Bills podcast is found on OverdueBillsPod.com. So we appreciate all of you. Shout out to Buffalo fan base. We know the fans are out there watching. And we ask you to please like, share, rate, and review. Do all of those amazing things. We need you to do that. We appreciate that. And with that being said, Matt, let's get into your trip, and then we'll do the quick question of the day. So, Matt, where did you go, and what exactly happened?
Man, so I went down to enemy territory, which is a nice little paradise, and I went to South Beach. Shout out my guy Tamar and his new wife Martana. They got married over the weekend.
Shout out to
They,
Tamar, Raw Tamar.
Yeah,
congrats.
Raw Tamar, another Buffalo guy. So yeah, man, we went down there for the weekend, me and my girl and a bunch of other people, and of course, I'm wearing my Bills stuff, just like I see people on the beach with their Bills gear. You got to hit them with a Go Bills. It's just
You had a hoodie on?
natural thing. I didn't have a hoodie on. I had yeah, it was 92 and muggy down there all day. So
it was that up here too.
Man, it was crazy. But
yeah,
I was getting chirped, by some of the locals. I went into, I'm a cigar lounge guy. I went to a couple lounges, went to a couple little bars, restaurants. They're like, "Oh man, you're in enemy territory right now. We're gonna let you be here. We're gonna let you eat here, but once you're done, you gotta go." Like I was like, "Damn, all right." Shit, I guess it is what it is, man. I guess it is what it is,
I'm sore losers, man.
Sore losers, Josh Allen's kids out there.
For sure.
Out in South Beach. So that was my weekend in a nutshell. It was great weekend. Good to be down there. Thinking about going back for the game.
Okay. Shout out to the vacation.
My bad. I gotta add this in too. So we Isaiah McKenzie, he owns a barbecue place down there.
Oh yeah.
Me and a couple
He from
buddies.
there?
Yeah, he's from Miami. So he opened a place. It's in Miami Lakes, which is like 20 minutes. I was 20 minutes away from South Beach, but it's a nice little spot. It's called La Trala Barbecue. It was voted the best barbecue in Miami this year.
Wow.
So of course we had to try it out, and it was everything that it's hyped up to be. We all got something different. It was really good. So shout out Isaiah McKenzie.
Isaiah McKenzie with many talents. He was just on American Got Talent.
Yep.
Yeah, so he was just singing on American Got Talent. Yeah.
Yeah, we just missed him. The lady who was working in there said he was in there a couple times that day. So I guess he's real hands on in that business too. I know he posts about it a lot. So shout out to him. The food was definitely good. If you're ever down there in Miami as a Bills fan, you want to get some good barbecue, definitely go check that out.
Plug.
Shout out Isaiah McKenzie, man. He's definitely be in the town. So I've heard. But that's neither here nor there. All right. Listen, quick question of the day. Quick question of the day. And I gotta ask these guys this because I was thinking about this earlier. So I'm gonna go to Matt first.
Okay.
What player not named Josh Allen, right? So it's a player not named Josh Allen on the Buffalo Bills. Would you say has the most to do with our success next year, right? So we have a successful season, our championship or bust. Some would suggest, some would say, right? So what player would that be? What's the next player? Now, obviously, Josh Allen is tantamount, right? So we understand that. But what is the next player you think in your eyes? He has to have a great season in order for us to get to the level we need to get to.
I'm gonna go with Tremaine Edmonds, man. I mean, he, this is his contract year, right? We just gave him that 5th year option, so he's in that point right now where it's for whatever reason, we all know, or at least we all think he can have the potential to be that tier 1 middle linebacker, right? So he has all the intangibles. He just has to let it translate over to the field. He has to become the leader of that defense, or at least of that front 7, right? That's a very important piece of any defense. So I think he's got to really make the jump and solidify himself as a tier 1 linebacker this season for us to win a Super Bowl.
Okay, Rad, what player are you considering?
It was tough. When I first heard the question, I was going. Who popped in my mind was like somebody like a Greg Rousseau, because if he make a next jump. And if he's an elite guy, but I'm gonna go with the veteran. I'm gonna go with Von Miller. I'm gonna go with Von Miller on this one. I think if Von Miller come in and have the impact that we paid him to have on his individual play, but also the teammates around him, how he opened up everything around him as well. If Von Miller come and have the impact he had for the Rams when they traded for him, for the Broncos when they had their deep runs and stuff like that, if he come in and be that elite top 5 DN. To add to the number 1 defense of unit in football and help a Greg Rousseau mature and take that next step, I think Von Miller is definitely the number 2 guy I'm looking at. I know he's a first-year guy and we got other guys, but if he can have the impact that we know he's capable of having, I think that's I you know how I feel about our team. We going 17-1. I think that shows how we gonna win a lot of games, a whole lot of games. If Von Miller had that impact.
For me, it's Ed Oliver. I think if Ed Oliver can become a superstar, I think that like our front seven, like everything just it becomes easier. Like it reminds me of like a Vita Vea, like somebody like that who was so integral. Like people talk about him, and he might not necessarily come off the screen all the time, but he's elite and he does the things that is necessary. Right? I'm not gonna say Aaron Donald because that's a once in a generational player, but we need Ed Oliver to be there. Like we drafted him high, he has the pedigree. And if Ed Oliver can take that next step, right, so we can have like a legit person on our defensive line that we can point to and say, listen, that's a top 5 player right there. I think he has it in him.
I remember, I mean, we talk about high end, the best version of Marcel. I mean, he's not the same player, but remember Marcel Darius, like when he what he gave us,
Absolutely.
He was all pro. He was all pro though. I mean, he was elite at his position. But if he can give us some, starting to get towards that type of play, obviously, Marcel was high end, but for a short period of time, it was short, but he was high end. If he can reach that type of production, then hell yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. I mean, isn't Marcel Darius making a comeback this year?
That's what they say.
He got signed to a training camp deal.
That's what they say.
Something? Yeah. So
maybe rent out that signing bonus we gave him. Nah, he probably just want to come out. Shout out to Marcel.
I mean, he's young. He's like our age, so he's definitely, he's young.
I'm gonna shout out to Ramesh Padman. Ramesh. Yep. My bad. Ramesh Padman. He said Gabe Davis. How y'all feel about Gabe Davis being the?
Gabe is important.
Impactful person.
Gabe is important, but the reason why I didn't pick another offensive player is because Josh Allen is that spectacular that I mean Dawson Knox, McKenzie, James Cook, I mean Devin Singletary, Stephon. I mean, like we have weapons around him, and he's that elite. If Gabe Davis doesn't have a breakout 1,000-yard, 1,200-yard season, I think our offense will still be clicking on all cylinders. It still will be fine. But defensively, like I think, like we all named people who need to be impact players, right? People who need to like last year we had a good we had the number 1 defense, right? But we didn't necessarily have a standout impact player. Like our safeties was amazing, our secondary played well, but I'm talking about somebody who like was a menace. Created turnovers, just made plays when we needed them to make. And we all named people who have the potential. Obviously, Von Miller does, but who have the potential to do that. So that's how I feel about it.
I mean, yeah, I do. I like what he said, though, because Gabe Davis, for me, I think, I talked about it before. I said, I feel like we got a potential to be like that Colts team, that Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, Peyton Manning team where it's just high offense, high impact offense. But remember that one year when Bob Sanders was the defensive player of the year. They had Mathis, they had Freeney, obviously, and that defense showed up and they was a top 2 defense. Like I feel like we got that type of team. We got that type of talent on our side. Now, Peyton Manning is an all-timer, top 5 guy, Josh Allen, but his talent is in that room. Like his talent-wise, he haven't obviously put it all together, won championships and MVPs and stuff like that. But his talent-wise is on that field. Stephon Diggs is a dog. Gabe Davis can come and make that Reggie Wayne type of jump and be that type of impactful player. I can definitely see us, being the number 1 offense if Gabe Davis make that jump. So I definitely
for sure
agree with him on that.
We'll see. It remains to be seen. Definitely remains to be seen. But all right, let's do it. Let's move on. All right, I gotta ask this question, right? And it's kind of going around on Twitter. I seen it on Twitter. That's where I seen it at. And PFF came out with their grades for our secondary. And when I seen it, it was a retweet by Jordan Poyer. He was upset, but I believe we came in 6th on the list. We was number 6 on the list. So I'm going to go to the guys, man. I'm going to just throw the question out there, and this is to everybody. How do y'all feel about our PFF grade being the 6th best secondary in football?
I mean, I'm even though I'm a Bills fan, I'm a homer. You can't look at any other unit in the NFL and say that there's 5 other units better than the Bills secondary. You just can't. You got 2 all-pro safeties, you have an all-pro cornerback, and you have a guy that probably should have been an all-pro in Teron Johnson last year or at least he should have been a Pro Bowler. So it's like and then you got a young guy coming in the first rounder and Kaiir Elam, and then you got other guys like Dane Jackson, DeMar Hamlin. You can't put 5 other units above that list. In my opinion, they should have been top 2, if not number 1. Or that's just crazy to put them at 6. But you know what though, it's some chalkboard material for the guys, and I guess they got to keep proving themselves after having that kind of season.
Yeah, it's a little. I mean, I don't know, because when you see these type of lists, you like, do they do things just to get people talking about it, right?
Yeah.
Because how can you have? I know Jair Alexander is a dog. He's a top 5, top 3 guy, really. But after that, it ain't like the best. After that, you know what I mean? I think our safeties are better than the Packers safeties. I mean, the people they got in front of us, let's go through the list. The top 10 is number 1 is the Ravens. Number 2 is the Buccaneers. Number 3 is the Browns. Number 4 is the Packers. Number 5 is the Dolphins. We come in at 6, and then it rounds off with the Saints, Chargers, Rams, Bengals. But
which is
I understand the Browns because they got Greedy Williams.
It's insane.
And I mean, but I can see the pedigree here. But only one I agree with for sure. I agree with the Ravens. And I'm not mad at the Dolphins. Dolphins got a good secondary. But
Dolphins do.
The Ravens secondary is really good.
But you know what? Jordan Poyer might have said it best. I think PFF_Mike is the one who put this list out, and he said that PFF Mike needs a new hobby.
He do.
I think he wanted to cause us some controversy, because this is
he did. If he was looking to get the people going, he definitely did. He definitely did his
especially
job.
Our fan base.
The Bucks
got the clickbait.
The Bucks being ahead of us is insane. I don't even want to get. I don't even want to get in like who they have versus who we have. Like, obviously that's important, but I mean, we have an amazing unit. Like, we had legit 2 dogs back there. You know what I'm saying? Roam in the field, Poyer and Hyde. And the thing about it is, Tre'Davious Whitehead got hurt, and we still kept it together. It wasn't like we didn't keep it together.
Teron Johnson was one of the better slot cornerbacks in the league.
It's insane.
For a team to be so low in the sack category and the QB pressure category, and our secondary being so good, that should vault them to number 1.
And our run defense was terrible, and we
the
number 1 scoring defense in the league. So I mean, come on, what are we talking about? So yeah, I think the Bills, I think they're gonna end up being, obviously top 3 on that list. And I think Trey White gonna come back healthy. Maybe Trey White not being fully healthy, maybe they knocked us down because of that. Maybe it's Trey White fully healthy going into the season. Maybe you see us at that 3 or 2 spot. But yeah, I think we gonna end up that list top 5.
And the other thing that I didn't like, I mentioned guys on that list, but I know Jordan Poyer mentioned it in the first week of minicamp. They were talking about depth at the safety position, and they have. I mean, they're obviously, you got Jordan and Micah, right? They're almost they're not irreplaceable, but they're very, very valuable pieces. But you got 2 guys behind them in DeMar Hamlin and Jaquan Johnson, who can and have been able to play that position when needed. So that depth is another thing that I'm sure 5 of these 5 teams before us don't have that full depth either.
For sure. I mean, it's to be honest, it's not even a question for me. I was just looking at it. I'm kind of disgusted, but it is what it is. Poyer said it best. They needed to find a new hobby. I mean, it gets us to talk. But shout out to our secondary, and obviously, we talked about it ad nauseum, adding, a first round cornerback, top tier talent with the height and the pedigree of Kaiir Elam. I mean, we'll be fine. Like, I think we should be number 1, hopefully, going into next year. But with that being said, I do want to ask you guys this, right? And this is a little bit premature. I know this is early in the season, but I wanted to ask you, I guess we can stick offensively, right? I want to stick offensively because we do have a new coordinator, and we're going to talk about that. Like, we're definitely going to talk about Ken Dorsey ad nauseum. But I just want to ask, leaving last season, going into this season, right? Can you name me one thing you want to see more offensively, right? We saw what happened last year, and going into this year. Can you name me one thing that you want to see more of going into this year? And obviously, conversely, we're going to do the antithesis. Name me one thing you do not want to see more of, right? So I'm gonna go to Rad first. Rad, name me one thing you want to see more of going into the season, offensively.
Offensively, you know, I think bringing in obviously Ken Dorsey being our offensive coordinator, but the underrated play and bringing in our quarterbacks coach and Joe Brady, you know, he was the architect, not the architect, but the offensive coordinator of the best college offense in college football history with that Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. And if you go back to last year, the first couple games, 4 or 5 games in Carolina, how he had Sam Darnold looking, and how they was using McCaffrey, and how they was using DJ Moore out of the backfield, out of them. So I would like to see somebody like a James Cook, even if you want to put Diggs back now, maybe not Diggs, but somebody who in that role where to be out the backfield, to get them mismatches against linebackers or safeties, whoever you want, and just use that running back or that player out the backfield in the passing game more often. You know what I'm saying? Get them quick and get the ball out quick. I like what McCaffrey and DJ Moore was doing. When they got in the red zone, they was using that running back option flare out the backfield. So I would like to see. That's why I think we got James Cook, that type of running back. So I would like to see a lot of those flare out runs, those running back options, like what Kamara used to do for the Saints, like those type of things that have the running back one-on-ones or the guy out the back for one-on-ones, and he won those matchups. So I like to see a lot of those type of plays moving forward.
Matt.
So for me, I know it might sound kind of boring, but I would love to have a top 5 fantasy back, like a guy that can get you a 100-yard game every game rushing the football. If our offensive line can stay healthy, I don't know how many touches he's going to get, but we see teams that have been successful doing it, like the Vikings. Kirk Cousins can throw for 300, and Dalvin Cook's going to rush for 100. He can do that every game if he wants to. You know what I mean? That type of offense, we definitely have the weapons to do that. It's going to come down to the offensive line, and however many touches he's going to give that running back, because Josh is going to get his couple of his carries too. But I would like to see a running back that can get 100 yards every week, or kind of whenever he wants to. Whether it be James Cook, whether it be Devin Singletary, that would be great for me.
For me, I want to see the deep threat more. Pause. I want to see Josh Allen air the ball out. He has a cannon. He can throw 60, 70, 80 yards. And last year we didn't see it as much. Like we didn't necessarily have those huge chunk plays, right? Those big plays, like field stretching plays. And I just want to see. I don't know if that's a Stephon Diggs issue. Maybe he's getting a little long in the tooth, and like the speed is not there as much. But Gabe Davis can run. You know what I'm saying? Like once he gets the horses moving, he can get downfield. And I want to see him utilized in that role, right? Listen, put him over there. Stretch out the field, man. Like I'm highly anticipating that. I want to see if hopefully Ken Dorsey can incorporate that so we can get chunk plays. It doesn't have to be a methodical move the ball. Like we can get boom. Like
what do you think Gabe Davis' ceiling is? Who do you think, like, who is his comp? When I look, who do you think Gabe Davis' comp is? Like, who can he be? What's like the best version of Gabe Davis? Do either one of y'all got one?
No, honestly, I haven't even thought about it. Like,
big guy, he catch with his hands.
Yep, catches. I mean,
he ain't the fastest, but he like you said, Sam, he can get moving. I don't know.
That's tough. I mean, that's tough.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anybody out there in the comments? Yeah, got something to say about it. I don't know.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking of some, and it's like and it's
how
it's
he
tough.
move.
It's tough. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna think about it. I mean, we're gonna obviously be thinking about it, but I want to know, what's his ceiling? Do you think he can be a 1A, 1B? Do you think he can be 1B to Stephon? Do you think he's that good, or he probably a 2? He locked in as the 2. He's gonna be a quality 2 probably his whole career, or he might scratch the surface of a 1.
I think. I guess it's kind of hard for us because our answer is kind of skewed from what we've seen in the playoffs. Like he actually went crazy, bonkers. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so once you see that, it's like, even if obviously you're not going to get 200 plus yards like every game, but Yeah, it's impossible. But if you can do a semblance of that, man, like you a dog. Like my vision with Gabe Davis is I think he can. He's a good number 2, but he's good in chunk plays, right? I think that's where he's going to be great at, right? Like chunk plays. In my opinion, he could be a Roddy White type of player. Roddy White had decent speed, big, physical, can catch the ball, right?
Yeah.
He has the size of an Anquan Bolden, but I don't know if he's that necessarily physical right now, so I'm not gonna put that on him. But like a Roddy White is somebody that's a great ceiling. Like Roddy White was a great receiver for multiple years in the league. You know what I'm saying? He led a team.
I mean, I would. I mean, it's very doable. I'm not even addressing that. Right?
My man Millie, shout out to my man Millie. My man Millie said Carolina.
Yeah. No. If that's what we got for his ceiling, then we're in trouble.
Yeah. Shout out to Millie checking in. I mean, Calvin Benjamin before he got hurt, I remember Stop.
He was a good red zone guy.
Yeah, remember that Super Bowl year?
But he was also 6'6".
Yeah, he was big. But I mean, pause.
Yeah, he was out the league in stop.
Yeah.
But
no, I was thinking like Jordy Nelson, like that type of player. Like Jordy Nelson caught bombs, and he was just the guy that Aaron Rodgers could always depend on, which is what Gabe Davis. You never see him drop the ball. He makes those crazy acrobatic catches. One of those dudes, and he's not like the fastest, but he gets that opening, he gets that separation, and he does not drop the ball. So that was my kind of comp, which would be great if he could turn out to be that. Right. That's a 1A, 1B receiver right there.
Ramesh says Mike Evans. Yeah, I'm looking at.
Yeah,
I mean, if he can be Mike Evans, we hit, y'all. We hit.
I mean, it's going to be very. I think it's going to be very easy for us to have 2,000-yard receivers this year. Like very easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if he on the field as much, he gonna be on the field way more than he was last year. Last year I just don't think he got enough plays. This year I think they're not gonna make that mistake, or he just gonna play. But I think he earned it. On the playoff game, that big moments like that. I think give you some leeway to just be like, yo, this is your job. Go out there and just prove us right. You know what I mean? Instead of bringing somebody in for him to earn it. You know what I mean? I understand that prospect or understand that method of doing things, but I think sometimes you just got to just give, he earned it. I think he give him the job and let him prove himself. So, but yeah, man, I'm looking forward to see, how good Gabe Davis can be.
Yeah. And it's also a good thing too. I think it lights a fire under the older guys because it's a third-year receiver coming in, and he's going to come in and get the job done. So there's always going to be that, man, I got to step it up. If Gabe is out here doing this, I got to go do whatever I could do, right?
Yep.
Okay, that was one thing that we wanted to see more of, but one thing that we don't want to see more of, like we, in my opinion, is pointless runs. Like last year for some godforsaken reason, Brian Dable would just like get the ball to Devin Singletary and tell him to run in between our center and our guard. And nobody could understand why we kept doing that because it just didn't go anywhere. Like nothing happened. Now, granted, we do have a better offensive line this year than we did last year, but for me, like, granted, Brian Dable was a great play caller. I'm not saying that he wasn't. He was a great offensive coordinator. But for me, it's like pointless runs. I need to see innovative runs, man. That's for me. Like I need to see innovative, creative things with our running backs. That's how I feel. So, Rat, how do you feel?
For me, it's like I remember when we played, those heavy run teams, Colts, Titans, and how we played defense. It was just like we just
offensively.
This offensively.
Just offensively.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought you were talking about in general. Offensively, honestly, I just believe in Josh, so I think he's just gonna take that next step. I think for me, it's just I know he said not naming Josh, but like some of those plays where he just was like he just lost. He just was like some little boneheaded plays he has sometimes, but offensively, I think we're gonna be fine. I think I think this is gonna be Josh Allen's year, and he's gonna take over this offense. And I don't know what I would take away. I want us to just keep doing much better. I don't want necessarily to take nothing away. I think we figured it out offensively. I think the last few weeks of the season, I think we all figured it out, and I think our offense is. I think we're ready. I think our offense is ready.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually going to piggyback on our guy Ramesh in the comments. Just like less early Josh Allen. I want Josh to run, in plays that nobody's going to expect him to run. I don't want to do it on first down and plays like that. I'd rather let the running backs run the ball this season. I'd see how they go with this new offensive line coach. And I think those two can get it done. They just got to get the touches.
But don't you think, I mean, I don't love when Josh run all the time either, but it seems like when he break one of those 10, 15, 12 yarders, it's like it energizes him. You know what I'm saying? It's like, when he go on a run, when he break one of those joints, it's like, oh, Josh coming back. It gets the juices flowing. He get in the rhythm. It gets the defense off balance because it's like, oh, he might take off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily want to take those away because I know
I just want to. I don't want to take
him.
Yeah.
But I hear what you're saying.
I want to take him away. Just take him away in the earlier downs. Like
Gotcha.
I'd love to throw a 3rd and 7 surprise. I wouldn't mind that. Like because he converts those. So
I think we don't have to see it in the regular season like heavily, right? All the time, right? Like we can win these games without him doing that. But in the playoffs, like when the rubber is meeting the road, when like things like that, like how he did, against the Kansas City Chiefs, and he made play after play like that. That's a necessity. Like no holds bars. You got to do it, right? And even I'm not.
You don't
want
him to lose that. You don't want him to lose that.
No, don't lose it at all. I'm not saying we can't do it in the regular season, but not a heavy dose of it. Yeah. Only when we need it, Josh. Like you have to, and I think we have to just allow Josh to like grow up and be mature in those situations, right? You can't take the hits. You're just worth too much. You're too valuable for that. And I think he'll do that.
Yeah, I think he'd be smart, right? Because you even go back to other quarterbacks when they were younger, right? If you look at young John Elway, he was getting booked, right? He was running. Then eventually he slowed it down and became the better passer. Steve Young, like those guys who were mobile. They eventually figured it out and stopped taking hits. And I think Josh, he's going to figure that out and not going to take as many hits or know when to run and when not to run. The offense is going to be everything's going to be so fast for him. That running, I don't think he's going to do it out of necessity. He's not just going to just do it. I think early on in his career, he was doing it because he know he could get away. But now I think the offense is going to be such at a great pace. It's going to be so fast for him. I think running is not going to be as prevalent for him, especially on those. I think he's just going to get the ball out of his hands. I think Josh going to get the ball out of his hands. It's going to be a great season. MVP.
For sure, man. Definitely appreciate everybody for tuning in, man. Definitely want to give you a good show. Some good topics, and please be with us next week. And shout out to overduebillspod.com, overduebillspod.com. All your merch needs, please fill up on your merch, man. Get the merch before the season starts because it's gonna go quick. I'm telling you now, man. Try to get it now because it's going to go quick. Please like, share, rate, and review, subscribe, all those amazing things. And y'all know how we end every show with a little bit of that. Hey, 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 hey.
Hey. All right, man. Come on, buddy. All right, y'all boys.
All right.